Davante Adams has been traded to the New York Jets. And on top of that, the Jets' star pass rusher who has been holding out, Haason Reddick, has been given permission to seek a trade. What's up, guys? Swift here, and I wanted to quickly update you on some trade deadline rumors and the Davante Adams trade. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, I do believe this was a bad deal for the Raiders, only getting a conditional third rounder for one of the best wide receivers in the game. However, I do not believe they had any leverage here. I think Davante Adams wanted out, and on top of that, he had a no trade clause. That means he could pick his new team, and the rumors are he only wanted to play with the Saints or Jets. Those are the teams that have his former quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr, who was his college quarterback. With Carr being hurt, they really had zero leverage here, so managing to maybe get a second rounder could be a pretty good deal. But with the Jets now taking on Davante Adams' salary, the biggest news here for Bears fans is I think it means the Jets are no longer in the market to give pass rusher Haason Reddick a new contract, and they're going to look to trade him. This is where it gets interesting. Remember that Ryan Poles just tried to trade for Matthew Judon, but just missed out and he got traded to the Falcons. Haason Reddick is similar to Judon in a lot of ways and would give this team another star pass rusher. In the last week, Reddick has fired his agent and hired Drew Rosenhaus. And then this morning, the Jets granted Reddick permission to seek a trade, according to multiple reports that also suggest that Drew Rosenhaus has been talking to teams all night long. So Reddick is finally available to trade. He has been holding out all season, looking for a new contract, so a team trading for him most likely would need to give him a new deal. But if Poles was really that interested in Matthew Judon, he might be calling the Jets about Reddick. So I did want to compare the Jets pass rusher to recently traded Matthew Judon, who we know that Poles tried to trade for and had interest in. The biggest difference between the two is size. Judon is 30 pounds heavier and 2 inches taller. He fits what Flus looks for a little bit more. We know Flus likes those guys who can set the edge, but Reddick has a lot of the traits that Ryan Poles looks for. He's younger, he's more consistent as a pass rusher, and he's more athletic, scoring a 9.08 on the relative athletic score. Both players have been forces as pass rushers, but Reddick has 11 sacks in each of the last 4 seasons, where Judon only went over double-digit sacks twice in the last 4 years. In total, in the last 4 seasons, Reddick has 50.5 sacks compared to Judon's 38.5. So he's clearly been more productive as a pass rusher, and on top of that, he's younger and more athletic. The only downside is he doesn't have the size Flus looks for to set the edge, but he brings everything we look for in a pass rusher. There's definitely a possibility here that Ryan Poles will be interested in making a move. The biggest question would be what would the cost be and how much does Reddick want with a new contract? The Jets traded a third round pick to get Reddick. It's possible they could trade him for less than that. And when it comes to the Bears, we have extra draft picks and we have cap flexibility. So if we really wanted to get it done, Poles could get this one done. Do we need another pass rusher? I don't think you can ever have too many pass rushers, and adding Reddick would only make the rest of the players on this defensive line even better. It would also protect us in case someone on this D line gets injured. We'd have another player who is potentially a force multiplier. So while I don't know if Ryan Poles is interested, especially since he's skipped all of training camp and he's been holding out this season, you don't want that kind of distraction in the locker room. So if we did trade for him, I'm almost positive that Ryan Poles would want a new contract done before they made that deal. He wouldn't take a chance in trading for a guy who's just going to keep holding out and be a distraction. There is some risk there, but Reddick is proven as one of the better pass rushers in the NFL over the last 5 years. If we do trade for him, it's not like we'd need him to start for us or anything. We already have a top 10 defense, and DeMarcus Walker can continue starting at edge, and we still have Darrell Taylor, Austin Booker, and Jacob Martin should be back soon as well. So Haason Reddick could ramp up and work his way back in as a situational pass rusher and do what he does best, get after quarterbacks. So I wouldn't be too worried about him holding out, but this is definitely something to keep an eye on. It doesn't sound like the Jets have any interest in working out a deal with Haason right now, especially after taking on Davante Adams' giant contract. I honestly don't know if they even have the cap space to sign him to a new deal. So this is another opportunity for Ryan Poles to improve this roster, and we know he is always looking to do that. And then a couple of other things I wanted to address. First, I know we need offensive line help. Second, I want to address the rumor that Haason Reddick is a diva. Look, I don't care what players do off the football field. I don't care that Caleb Williams paints his nails. I don't care what players wear in pregame. I care how they produce on the football field, and Haason is an elite pass rusher. It's Ryan Poles' job to do his due diligence and find out if he'd be a distraction in the locker room or not. That's not something I can really figure out. But on top of that, the situation with the Jets was odd to me. Think about it. Reddick has 50 plus sacks in the last 4 years, and he wanted a new contract. That's why he was getting traded. The Jets traded for him knowing he wanted a new contract, but haven't given him a new deal yet. Think about other players that have been traded recently and got big deals. Montez Sweat, Davante Adams, and others. But let's talk about Montez Sweat. He even said in an interview last year that he told his agent to tell the Bears he wasn't going to play unless he got a new contract. But Ryan Poles went out and got that contract done. If Ryan Poles wouldn't have got that deal done and Montez Sweat would have held out, would that have made him a diva? Because that's what happened to Haason Reddick. The Jets traded for him, but he never got the new contract. I don't know for sure what was said between him and his agent beforehand, but I'm pretty sure there was some kind of agreement there that, hey, I'm not going to play unless I get a new deal. Do I think he could be a locker room distraction? I do. But I also think that Ryan Poles is going to do his due diligence in that matter. And if Ryan Poles does trade for him, I have full confidence that he'd get a new contract ready as well. So there wouldn't be a distraction. The bottom line is, if Ryan Poles did make this move, he would make sure Haason was not a distraction in the locker room. That much I'm pretty sure of. He's learned from his Chase Claypool mistake. And then finally, I know what everyone is saying, but Swift, we need offensive linemen. Guys, I know that. But offensive linemen getting traded is much more rare during the season. The NFL already has a talent deficiency when it comes to the O line. There simply are not enough talented O linemen in the league to go around. Sure, it's possible one or two guys could get traded. Someone could definitely become available. But a team like the Chiefs are not going to trade away a Pro Bowl guard like Trey Smith, not when they are competing for a Super Bowl. Our best hopes at landing a guy like that is next year during free agency or during the offseason. But if more rumors do pop up, legit ones anyway, I will always address them. And then one final update, I did a video on what we need from Justin Fields in order to get that fourth round pick from the Steelers. I released that this morning. A couple of hours after I released that video, Tom Pelissero broke news that the Steelers plan on starting Russell Wilson this Sunday night. He is getting first team reps in practice. It came as a surprise to me that they would bench Justin when they're 4-2, but maybe they really don't want to give us that fourth rounder. We need to root for Russell Wilson to get benched now, but in that video, I go into full detail on why that fourth round pick is so important and exactly how many snaps Justin needs in order for us to get that fourth round pick. Now that he's not starting anymore, that video is even more relevant. Check that out if you missed it. Let me know what you guys think. If we do go after Jets pass rusher Haason Reddick, I would be interested in the trade just to keep him from going to the Lions. But I appreciate everyone who watches. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.